Hello. That was a weird hello. But we're doing this in my room, doing a different setting, because it gets hot in my car, and I kind of want to do this like during their more light outside right now. But I kind of want to talk about: is it being lazy, or are you just tired, burnt out? Because there's always some contemplation going on in my life, and I think back at all a lot of the things that I do that I just didn't do. Studying, all the basic stuff, right? Like not helping out sometimes, ditching plans with your friends because you just didn't want to go out. I mean, I think that was a little different. Sometimes you just don't really want to go out. But I'm talking about things that, like, you know, going to work, not doing, not putting in a lot of effort to something that you may have should have put in more effort, you know. So you start thinking, is it laziness, or is it burnt out? Are you burnt out because of life being so hard, frustrating? There's so many things just weighing on you. And to be fair, you know, I do think that some parts are laziness, but sometimes life really is that draining. Sometimes life is really that frustrating, especially when you're dealing with people that just make your life harder. Um, like, there's not really much you can really say in that um, in that part. That people are just difficult to deal with. You know. I wish that dealing with people made life a little bit easier, but sometimes they don't. I mean, there's some good people, there's some bad people. I'm not gonna disregard that, but life just gets very draining. You get tired. I'll admit it. I am tired. You know, like things just sometimes they just don't work out, and then you just kind of have to accept it and just be like, that's life. Life is like that sometimes. And then you just go ahead and keep saying, oh, like, just move on. Let's just move past this. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end. It's just a bad day, bad moment, and you just move on. But then you start to realize that a lot of the times, a lot of those, you know, bad luck, I guess I can really call it, or things just don't go the way you want, and every single time that happens, they kind of pile up, right? You can take a beating after another beating and another beating, and you just get tired. You're getting kicked down so much, and the thing is that we never really give up. We keep going. We literally keep pushing through the struggle, and that's what's so powerful about our lives. You know, we should be proud of just trying and trying and trying. Because some people, even if you know, it's easy when your life goes right. It's so easy. The people who probably are succeeding now, they don't understand the things that you may have gone through. They won't understand what it means to keep pushing yourself every single time you fail. And maybe they do because they were probably in the same position as you. But I'm disregarding those people because a lot of the times we compare ourselves to people who just get it like that. Like, when let's say we fail at something, we usually compare ourselves to people who have done it already. right? Who succeeded already, and just like that. And I think that's just unfair to us, and that's just making us burnt out even more. But the thing is, we can't really do anything about it. We can't really change the fact that we are tired. The only thing we can do is just keep pushing forward. But it is difficult. It's hard. I've been in a slump. I think I'm out of the slump a little bit now. I don't, like life doesn't feel as draining as it was before. I mean, I think that's because you get used to it. I think that's the thing. Sometimes like life just doesn't go as planned, and we usually just get used to it. But that's just how it is. You know, sometimes you're in debt. You need money. You need to pay for things. Because the truth is that you can save. It's true, you can save, but at the same time, it's like some people can't just save. They need to spend money to live, and that's just the type of society that we live in, and that's just how it is. You know, like it's very costly to live. It's not even just money. It's time, effort, energy, mental health. It's very exhausting to just wake up every single day and attack all the challenges that you face. You know, so is it laziness or you just burnt out? I think it's both. When I reflect on my life, and I just I reflect, I look back at all the things that I should have, like studying. I look back at studying. I look back at what other things besides studying. I think when people ask me for favors, truthfully I still do it, but I don't want to do it. Because unless it's really, unless you're a person I really like, and I'm willing to put an effort for you. But for people who's just, because there's people I really like, and there's just people who are just you're just stuck with, if that makes sense. Like, you obviously can cut them off, but it's like you like them enough to not cut them off, right? You still like them, but just not enough to the point where like you want to do anything for them, if that makes sense. But for these people, it's easy to do things for them. You're not lazy, right? You're not lazy to do things for people who are up here on your favorited list. But people who are down here, maybe like, you know, a little below your top, because you have your top 10, and then you have your people below your top 10, maybe like top 13 favorite people in the world. You just, you don't want to do it, you know? So, in a way, that could be just me being lazy, right? Or it's just, you're just too tired to the point where, like, if you're just not willing to do things for other people, I mean, if you're not willing to do things for these type of people, I mean, you might be just burnt out. You might be just so tired. Because, like I said, life is so tiring. So if you ask me, how can you tell if you're just lazy or, burnt out? The question, that we don't know. There's not a really a good answer for that. And frankly, even though I'm making a video about this, I just want to bring it. I kind of just wanted to talk about it, but I don't think it's a really good question, because it's kind of, it's like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like it's not the right question to ask. I think a better question is to ask is, just generally, how are you feeling? I know it sounds like very cliche, corny, but I think asking yourself how you are feeling is a lot is very important. You know, because are you feeling lazy, or are you feeling you're just tired, right? So I think that's a better question. Just how are you feeling? You know, and that's a very, I think that vague of a question is very good. But yeah, I don't think I don't think that was the right question to ask. But you know, so the point I'm trying to say is that maybe we are just tired, and usually we're supposed to give ourselves a break. And even though it's hard to catch a break because you have so many things that you need to do, it's just like, would you rather have to take a break, or would you rather just work yourself to death, you know? Then you get sick, and then, you know, you have more problems because you just didn't rest or take a break. Like I said, you know, there's ambitious people out there, and there's some people who literally need to survive obsession. But the thing is, like, the one thing that bodybuilding has taught me is that I'm obsessed with, like, I don't know if you watched my last video, but there's this type of life that I'm envisioning. I want to cozy, like, it's literally my Pinterest board. Like right now, I'm gonna refer to it as my Pinterest board. Like that, my life on that Pinterest board is exactly how I want my life to be. And you know, there's a cozy, you know, cafes, my ideal girlfriend, my ideal life, my ideal job, and you know, the physique I want. It's there. So it's my on my Pinterest board. Literally, how my life, how I want my life to look is exactly how it looks like on my Pinterest board. So the thing is that bodybuilding is one of the big things. I mean, I like bodybuilding. I like fitness, right? I do like fitness. Yeah, I like bodybuilding as a sport. I mean, some people don't really consider it a sport, but I like bodybuilding. And the thing is that bodybuilding, you need to rest. You know, you need to give your body some rest, because you know, you need your body to literally just one, build muscle, and to rest so you can push yourself, because you get tired, your body has limits, right? And when you reach that limit, you have to give it a rest in order to surpass that limit. So I apply that to my life. Like, you get tired and you need a break, and you just come back stronger, and it's very, you know, willy-nilly, because it's kind of like basic, right? We all know that we're supposed to give ourselves a break, but we don't actually do it. We don't actually give ourselves a break. So I think the first step is to literally just to rest. And you're probably thinking that, oh, you know, resting is lazy. And you know, like I said, back to bodybuilding, like taking a rest day, it's not lazy. You have to. I mean, like, if you're just gonna go to the gym every single day, you really do realize. Cause I did it before, you know, my split was literally, um, the bro split. No, you know, I'll be working chest, back, legs, arms, repeat, chest, back, arm. You know, and then I didn't have a rest. I was literally working out. It was an 8 day split. Well, technically a 4 day split, just back to back. So technically, no rest. Literally just continuously, uh, chest, back, legs, arms. You know, you don't get rest. And I started feeling it. You started feeling a little bit fatigued. You feel a lot more tired. Like right now, I'm on a cut right now. And usually you're supposed to feel tired, and I do. But the thing is, it's not tired to the point where like I can't still push my set. But like before, when I was still back at my bro split, it literally felt like my body was just, it needed a break. You know, because doing that for so long, I mean, like, doing it for a month long, you should really start to feel the buildup of the tiredness. You know, you start to feel it, and you know, I've been doing my split push pull legs, upper lower, rest upper lower, and I feel pretty good. I like this split. I get rest 2 days a week. I work out 5 days a week, and I'm able to train my muscles twice a week. You know, each muscle twice a week, muscle group twice a week, and I feel pretty good. I feel great. So you need rest. So the thing is that you can probably keep pushing yourself to do more things, to just, like I said, you can, I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? But the thing is, like, at some point, you really have to realize that, I mean, you're gonna learn it the hard way if you're gonna keep going at it. That your body has limits. It needs rest to keep going. Like, your limits is getting, your limits is changing, and it keeps getting higher every single time you get rest. You know, like, as long as you stay consistent, you stay consistent, you rest, then you keep going up there, and you know life is good. You know, like I said, you can probably just say no. You can probably say no and just keep going at it every single time. But then you can go ahead. But I'm just saying, like, you start to realize, like, life gets very exhausting, gets very draining, and then you break. So I wouldn't really call it laziness. Well, like I said, at some degree, some parts, at least in my life, some parts were lazy, but some parts were like, you know, some parts where you're just tired. You're really tired. So we should give ourselves a break. And I hope, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I'm gonna just say that hopefully you don't push yourself too hard to the point where you break. Don't reach your, when you reach your limit, take a rest, because if you keep trying to surpass that limit, there's a breaking point where you just break. And then whoop-de-doo. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this video, and I hope that you go take your you go easy on yourself, and then get right back at it. But anyways, I hope that you're doing well, and I'm gonna catch you on the next video.